Now, James, welcome in. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, yeah, nice to be here. Thank you.
How are you finding Melbourne?
Yeah, it's great. I've never been here before. It's a fantastic city, so yeah, getting to
Are you getting used to our weather?
Yeah, just about. I mean, it takes you by surprise a lot of the time. But
you might have arrived late on those big heat storms we had. 2 weeks ago? It was 40 degrees and 38 degrees. And
oh, well, yeah, no, I managed to miss that, thank God. But, yeah.
well, James, take a deep breath because next Monday it's going to be 40.
Wow,
Yes,
okay. Well,
yes,
yeah, okay, good
well,
for that then.
That's what they say, but I don't know about in the UK. But over here, the Weather Bureau gets it wrong so many times.
Yeah, it's a pretty similar case in England, I have to say, that it's, kind of a bit of a serving suggestion, the weather report, but there you go.
Yeah. You're only a young chap. I was looking you online, and a young fella. You've been around for quite a while when it comes to theatre, though. How did you get that start into the theatre?
Well, I trained at a school in London called LAMDA, the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, and sort of after my training, really, that's kind of, in England, the best way to go into the industry is that sort of route. And then just been auditioning and working for the last 5-6 years.
James, how competitive is this in England?
It is very competitive. I mean, I think in any country, acting as an industry is always going to be very competitive. But it's kind of a healthy competition, and you find a lot of people when they've been in it for a while. You always believe that you'll be the best person for the job, but you don't slight anyone who ends up getting it. It's one of those things.
You're one of the original cast members of The Play That Goes Wrong. You're the only one in Australia, I believe, from the UK to play in our production of it. Tell us about the play itself. What's it about?
So the play is kind of it's almost like Faulty Towers meets Noises Off, really,
right.
That sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
So it's a group of hapless actors who try to put on a murder mystery called The Murder at Havisham Manor. But in trying to do so, they accidentally, with how many things go wrong, it becomes a bit of a farce, really. That's the kind of story. And, you've got everything going wrong, from people, tripping over furniture to people forgetting lines to all kinds of stuff. And them bringing their sort of off-stage issues on stage as well, that kind of stuff. So it's there's a lot there. But essentially, it's just really fun, one of those kind of laugh-a-minute kind of things where a real kind of catastrophe tale. But it's a lot of fun. I
was reading that it's apparently a high physical comedy, and there's some Buster Keaton-inspired sort of slapstick goes on.
Absolutely, yeah. There's some great old school slapstick, some brilliant physical gags in there, and the writers Henry and Jonathan, who we worked with in England.
Henry Lewis.
That was a big Henry Lewis. That's right. Who's the artistic director. Henry Shields, Henry Lewis, and Jonathan Sayer. They were really big fans of old school slapstick, Buster Keaton and Laurel Hardy, that kind of stuff, and they wanted to try and bring some of those things back onto the theatre, so because you don't see it that often. And there's that sort of level of the physical comedy. Then there's also a lot of very clever sort of line gags as well. There's a real mix, but yeah, it's a kind of real boisterous sort of physical romp kind of thing.
It even sounds a little bit like pantomime at times.
Almost, yeah. I mean, there are certainly elements of a kind of similar playing style, but in terms of pantomime, this one is kind of much more based on the sort of more classical French clown stuff, which the original director Marc Bell, he trained at a school in Paris called École Jacques Lecoq, and a lot of that stuff that he brings into the rehearsal room that we can use and to kind of deliver the story in that way. So I'd say it's not that sort of pantomimic, but it is very much a kind of a big sort of brash, fun farce.
Now, it's co-written by the Mischief Theatre. Now, a great name for a theatre company, Mischief Theatre.
Yeah.
Tell us something about the theatre company.
Well, they're a really fantastic company. They're sort of kind of from humble beginnings. We were training together at drama school, and Henry and Jonathan decided they wanted to set up a company, and they were doing a fantastic improv show called Lights, Camera, Improvise. Then when they decided they wanted to do a play, and they wrote The Play That Goes Wrong, and kind of tried it out in a few different formats, and then put it on in a pub theatre in Angel called the Old Red Lion. And it just sort of captured people from then on, really, and it sort of went on to do a small run at Trafalgar Studios, and then Kenny Wax and Mark Bentley became involved, who were the producers in England, and they kind of took a punt on it really and said, we think that it's going to we think this is something that could be quite big. And it went on to a UK tour, did very well, went on to the West End, did very, very well, won the Olivier Award for Best New Comedy that year. And then after that, it kind of has just been popping up everywhere, and now we're getting a chance to share it with Australia, which is great.
I noticed that. It's, of course, in Australia, UK, in the USA too, I believe.
That's right, yeah. The Broadway show will be opening later on this year. I think in about March time it's opening over there. So, yeah, really exciting. There's also one in Italy. There's one in Paris as well, which also won the Molière Award for Best New Comedy that year.
I bet you never thought when you had this group formed back in 2008 that it'd go all the way to where it is today.
No, absolutely. I mean, those guys have done just, it's incredible, you know, because as a company, they're a really sort of tight-knit group who've all known each other for a very long time and, you know, used to do Edinburgh seasons with their improv company, which, again, people absolutely loved. And every chance they get, they'll also put Lights, Camera, Improvise back on. Yes. But these guys, you know, it's fantastic. And whilst, you know, I'm sure there's an element of luck being in the right place at the right time, they work so hard and kind of they really deserve all of the success that they've had because they really, you know, whilst it's big and it's fun, like it's very detailed and they never kind of let things go until they're really, really happy with them, you know, and they say the comedy about a bank robbery, which is on the West End at the moment, even in, you know, months into the run, there were still sections that they were just like, maybe we can just tweak this in this way, just tweak that in that way, you know, they're real kind of perfectionists, because the work, it has to be very detailed, particularly when things are going wrong. They have to go wrong in the right way. So,
James, you were in also the Peter Pan one, weren't you? Peter Pan Goes Wrong.
I was, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Tell us about that. I'm a great fan of Peter Pan. I'm a kid at heart. What was that all about? I know the story of Peter Pan, but how did you improvise around that one?
Well, so the conceit for that was very similar. It's the same group of actors who are trying to put it on. So the group is called the Cornley Polytechnic Society Players, and they are trying to, or the Cornley Polytechnic Drama Society, I should say, and they are. The first time they tried to put on Murder at Havisham Manor in this version, and in that one they were doing Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
So, and the reason I think that the boys were inspired to take that on was a brilliant video on YouTube called Peter Pan Fiasco, which is a true story about a school group with a lot of money who tried to put on Peter Pan, and it went spectacularly wrong. It really is worth a watch if you can.
I'll look that up, yeah.
But, yeah, so... and with that, you know, again, they try and they think, surely this time, you know, we had the problems with the Murder at Havisham Manor, but no, but this time it will be right. And of course, it isn't. So, you know, the flying was particularly fun in that, because of the flying going wrong, and you know, this poor guy on the wires slamming into all kinds of stuff. And, it's fantastic, and they had a revolving stage as well, this huge revolving stage, which. Obviously was ripe for things to really start messing up with. So, yeah, again, that's the kind of story for you that. And in that one, you get a little bit more of the backstage sort of personas coming on as well. Through a series of malfunctioning sound cues, you hear sort of more about the backstory of the characters.
James, what's it like to rehearse with the Australian cast? How do we compare to the UK?
Well, I've just met them sort of on Monday, but everyone is such a nice, it's such a nice bunch that we're working with here, and very, very talented. Clearly, they, you know, you can just see that I think their seeds are something really, really special here, which is nice. Yeah, obviously, it's kind of strange for me going back to sort of the very beginning of the process, having been on the show for a year already on the West End. But no, it's a really, really nice group, and everyone's having a really interesting, fresh take on the characters, which is lovely to see.
No, your character is Max, isn't it? Max?
That's right. Yeah, Max. Yeah, but we've got and Max is a very fun character to play. He sort of is very, very excitable and has a really sort of good relationship with the audience, and has never been on stage before. Is the kind of the story behind Max, and really loves it when he gets out there. And it's kind of what we're capturing really well at the moment in rehearsal, which I'm really excited to see from this group is. The kind of, you know, whilst it's a comedy for the people watching it, for most of the characters in it, for the Cornley Polytechnic, this is a tragedy. You know, they really, really wanted it to go well. And, you know, Chris Bean, the director, he really thought he had something sophisticated and special, and and that it was going to go down so well, and then he just watches it fall apart in front of him.
All falls apart.
And, yeah, exactly, and that's what's amazing at the moment. Seeing that is that we work sort of first on the play that goes right, and then we kind of look at where that sort of starts to veer off into the things going wrong. And
it sounds like a hoot. It sounds like a lot of fun. I can't wait to see it.
It's really, really fun. It's one of those things that you can guarantee to laugh, and it really just I think it was the New York Times said about it that it's punch drunk and it just keeps getting drunker. And that's kind of a very good way to sort of sum it up. Really. So it's a lot of fun.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, I can't wait to see it. It's opening on the 22nd of February at the Comedy Theatre here in Melbourne. Are you rehearsing at the Comedy now or out of the building?
We're rehearsing at the moment at the MTC, who's very
right.
kindly given us some rehearsal space.
Yep.
And then we're going to be in the theatre as of sort of next week. We'll be at the Comedy Theatre because the set is such an integral part of the play. It's almost like another character, and we have to really get used to that set and sort of play it like an instrument, really, because it's just such a big part of the show. So,
well, we had Faulty Towers in that theatre last year. So,
fantastic.
You'll be at the same theatre. It's an intimate theatre. It's very, very good. And the audience are very close to stage, even if you're in the dress circle. It's very, very close. And it's a wonderful environment to be in. Good on you, James. Thank you for your valuable time today coming out of rehearsals. I do really appreciate that. All of us as they go on. 3.5 weeks to go to opening, the 22nd of Feb. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the night.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, James. Take care. Bye-bye now. James Marlowe there, one of the actors. He's playing Max in the play That Goes Wrong. Sounds like a hoot, doesn't it? A lot of fun. So if you want to be uplifted, forget about the troubles of the Trump world over there and everything else that's going on, Brexit and things, go along and put your feet up. Enjoy it.